There I am. Great. Okay. Good morning. I thought I'd do a short class this morning. So, feeling like it'd just be a good idea to do a class about movement, about moving from the floor to standing and using the breath. So I just wanted to repeat something that I did on my Saturday class about directions and spirals, because I'm going to use this idea, especially in relation to the pelvis, but also in the rib cage. Circle, the different planes of a circle. Circle this way. I call this the Ferris wheel when I do it with the pelvis, lifting it and dropping it, and then again side to side, the 6 different directions, up and down, forward and back. Playing with these planes of movement, and then figure 8 movement where you come through the center. So I like this, the Pilates spool, this idea of a circle is a nice way to think. So when you hold your arms are high, your elbows are high, and imagine the circle there. But actually having something there, it just gives you that little bit of resistance. So it just takes it more into your spine. If you can see that, if you can see where the movement comes from, where it's in my back, moving from the back, that's really the key to the body's movement. So I just always like to start with that. The clarity of the movements are so important. If you don't have the real preciseness of the movement, it's just not going to make sense. So really work on the clarity of the movement. Okay, I'll put this aside. We're going to do a lot of work on the floor this morning. I saved the more energetic aspects of it for the Saturday Zoom class, which will happen this week. Next week, I'm going to be away, so there's no class. Come and lie on your back, find your way to the floor, how we move to the floor, this whole usage of the pelvis. So much of it is about how you organize your body, how you organize your legs. The whole way of coming onto your side and how you extend your legs. And all movement is reversible, this whole concept of coming down and moving up. So how we organize, how we extend and contract, all these principles of usage, so important. So let's come and lie on our back and start there, which is always, again, this idea of the floor being your friend, how it supports you, how you can work out the fundamentals. Issues. If you were injured, you'd go to the floor and start working out what's happened and how I can fix it. So here you are on the ground, lying on your back. When you're on your back, the ground fully supports your spine, takes gravity out of the picture, and you can start to explore your body. You can start to sense it. The ground, I always use this image, the ground is a mirror to yourself. So see the way you've placed yourself and don't be afraid to make changes. So when I think of that, I always bring my legs in a little bit. I tend to have my legs too wide, which reflects the weakness in my hips, and when I stand, it'll take a similar posture. All the way through, you start to learn about yourself. So lie there, and the beauty of lying on your back and being fully supported is you're free to breathe more easily. When you have tension in your body, you tend to hold the breath. So that idea of releasing, and how you use your hands to put the attention in areas that you want to address. So fully allow yourself to release. And again, if you looked at a room full of people lying on the floor, you would be able to see how different people lie down, how
Some people are deeper into the ground than others. How we allow ourselves to sink into the ground and feel these anchor points, the heels of the feet, the weight of the pelvis, the weight of the rib cage, the weight of the head. The shoulders tend to be a little off the floor. You know, depend again, because you reach your arms when you're reaching for things. Your shoulders tend to round. So that whole idea of drawing your shoulders into the ground as if somebody's pushing them down into the floor is a nice concept to work with. And I always like to work with that again in relation to breath. I want to create this breath and movement idea. So when you move, you have this sense, you're deeper in your body when you have that sense of breathing and moving. And this idea of spirals, breathing in the spiral way. So there's a whole sort of sense of breathing up the front of the body and down the back. Circular movement, coming in up the front and down the back. Or you could do it the other way around. Different systems have different ways of thinking. There's no right and wrong. But just have that sense of a circular movement. All the way through your body. If you can see the breath moving as a circle and spiral. And like a wave. I often use this image of the Pacific Ocean. I like the Pacific Ocean because I lived for many years near the Pacific Ocean. And I like that image of an ocean. The rhythms in your body. We're made up mostly of water. So draw your shoulders into the floor and lift your breastbone. Just to start a movement somewhere. And then lift your shoulders and feel as if somebody's pushing your breastbone into the floor. To create this movement, this rhythmic movement of breath. And how that moves through you. And you can set up a movement anywhere in your body. And if you're relaxed in your body, everything will move. You'll see where the areas of tension are. Because those are the areas that won't move. Breath and movement. And you slow it down and you deepen it. How your legs move. Everything moves. It's a lovely feeling to work on the nervous system and allow things to just respond. Setting a movement up somewhere and letting it move through you. Moving meditation. I just put my attention down into my feet and started doing a circular movement with the feet. Just following the sense of the body and how that goes through me. How I can move my neck from my feet. All these lessons we've been doing over the weeks. How if you have a lot of tension in your neck, it's a good idea to release it by working your feet, by moving your neck from your feet to get your energy down. When you have tension somewhere, there's too much energy there. So if we think in terms of energy, and then when there's an energy too much in one place, there's a lacking somewhere else. So this idea of working your feet to move your neck. Let's bring our feet to standing. The key to the body's movement is the pelvis. When you have your feet standing, pushing into your feet, lifting the pelvis. Small movements, putting the pelvis down, lifting your feet off the floor to keep your feet relaxed. Up and down like this rhythmic movement, this pulsing movement. Soft with breath. Picking the feet up, putting them down. I like that idea because it keeps you from taking stress into your feet. So the lifting of the pelvis, the putting the pelvis down, And then the lifting of the feet and put them down. Feel the texture on the bottom of your feet touch the floor. Which part of the foot comes onto the floor first? All of this has relevance. How we push through the heel of the foot and also the ball of the foot, and the toes make contact. All this work we've done over the weeks on the feet. The ball, the heel, which comes down first? But the mobility of the pelvis is key to the body's movement. So pushing it up, put your attention there. And then do that circular movement like a Ferris wheel around. Which way do you choose to go? It'll say something about the way your legs and hips are set up. Do you take it in a clockwise direction or a counterclockwise direction? Do it the other way. All this material we've covered over the weeks. You know, if you take your pelvis up and shift it to the left and to the right, which do you choose first? And you might find it moves more one way than the other, and that will reflect when you stand and when you walk, of how you shift your hips. It's all preparation for walking. How we move in space. Circular movement. Then do that circular movement in that other plane of movement, as if you're dusting the furniture with your tail. So you keep your pelvis on a level and you just circle it around and feel the way it moves through your neck. And this is another way of allowing your neck to be released by letting it be moved by the pelvis. Circle it one way and then the other way. Which way do you choose? So those different planes of movement, like a Ferris wheel, up toward the sky and down the other side and the other way, and then taking it side to side, and then do that circular movement in the plane as if you're keeping your pelvis on that level, and your pelvis, if you can imagine it, just kind of staying dusting the furniture, or in that same line as the floor, one way and then the other. And this is the way you strengthen your hips in a safe way. Lovely. Push your pelvis way up and put your hands underneath your pelvis like you're doing a bridge in yoga. Oh, push that pelvis high, supporting the pelvis. And then bring it down and stretch your legs out long. How we develop strength in the hips, how we start this process of moving from the floor to sitting and then into standing. Roll your head side to side. Lift one shoulder, lift the other. To throw your head one way and then the other. Lovely. Put your fingertips on your breastbone. And do a circular movement there. Circle in the same sort of plane that we did when we were dusting the furniture with the pelvis. So you keep it at that level, as if you're doing a circle on the floor. Circle it one way, circle it the other way. And breathe. And then think about doing that circle as if it's the Ferris wheel movement. You're pushing it to the sky and then drawing it down. It's going to be a much smaller movement than the pelvis. But you'll get that sense of lifting the chest toward the sky, lifting the breastbone to the sky, and circling it in that sort of plane like a Ferris wheel. So those different planes of movement, and then just rocking your breastbone side to side. That whole interplay, put one hand on your lower belly and one on your chest. and do a circular movement. One way and then the other way, like you're dusting the furniture on that level of the floor. You're making the circle on the floor. And then you can do it like a Ferris wheel, just to get that feeling of the fluidity of your body. All right, come to rest. Take a good, lovely breath. Bring your feet to standing, knees to the sky. And just let your right knee fall to the floor of the right. And back up again. And feel how that moves through you. Feel how that moves through you. Feel how that makes that movement just that little bit easier. When you drop that right knee toward the floor, you lift your left shoulder. And then let both knees fall to the right. And lift that left shoulder. And keep your head on the floor. Pay attention to what happens in your neck. Let your head go with the movement. So when the knees drop over to the right, your head drops over to the right. Keep the back of your head on the floor. And the next time you do that, let your head go in the opposite direction. Knees to the right, shoulder comes up, head turns to the left. Keep the back of your head on the floor, which is a key. You'll feel the difference on the two sides. Let's do the other side. Let your left knee fall to the ground on the left. And see if you feel your right shoulder wanting to come up. And let that happen. You'll see it'll be different on the two sides. One side is much more organized than the other. Let both knees fall over toward the left. Lift that right shoulder. Let your head go with the movement. Simple little lesson in turning. Head goes with the movement. Everything is moving over toward that left shoulder comes up. And then the next time you bring your legs, your knees over toward the floor, toward the left, and you lift your right shoulder. Turn your head in the opposite direction. And do that a few times. And feel that plane of movement. Head on the floor. Be conscious. You're really anchoring the head. Sometimes if you're not able to do that, you put some quite thin book or something under your head. Lovely, that play. Let your knees fall one way and then the other way. Let your head go with the movement. Your knees fall to the left. Your head falls to the left. Your knees fall to the right. Your head falls to the right. Be conscious of your neck and feel the way the shoulder lifts to help you. And then let your head go in the opposite direction. Simple little lesson in movement again, of just feeling how you move the pelvis, twisting the spine. Come neutral, interlace your fingers. Take your palm, turn your hands so the palms push up toward the sky. And then turn your head, roll your head to look off to the left. And bring your hand, the back of your hands down on your forehead. So you're fixing the head on the floor. Turn to the left. And now let your knees fall to the left. You're fixing your head and just letting your knees go to the left and then let them go to the right. This is an important concept, this idea of fixing and moving. Fixing the neck. Holding your head with the back of your hands. Back and forth with the knees. And then let that go. And then let your knees fall one way and then the other way. And see if it's a little clearer, the movement of your neck and head. When you fix it and then allow it to move again, you become more conscious. Lovely. I'm going to do it the other way now. Interlace your fingers. Push your hands toward the sky. Palms of the hands. Turn your head to the right. Put the back of your hands on your forehead. So you're fixing the head. Turn to the right. And then let your knees fall one way. And then the other way. This is the way you sort out problems in your neck. By fixing it, and then moving from further down to sort out the vertebrae of your spine. Feel the way your spine moves, all the way up. Lovely, and then leave that, bring the arms away, and let your head move in the same direction as the knees. And then in the opposite direction of the knees. Allow the movement to come from the rolling of the pelvis. Softening your neck. Let's just do that in a neutral plane. Interlace your fingers once again. Keep your eyes looking to the sky. Put the back of your hands on your forehead. Elbows out to the side. And let's just do it this way. We just now keep the lower body fixed and just rock your head with your arms. With your hands on the back of your head, and just take your head one way and then the other way. And then let your knees go in opposite direction. It just puts the attention up in the neck. It's a lovely sequence, this. Putting the attention in that turning of your head, opposition to the knees. Lovely. All right, leave that. Stretch your legs long. Bring your arms down toward your side. Roll your head side to side. See if your neck is a little freer. Bring your arms out to the side, shoulder height, which is a lovely opening of the heart. And let your eyes look to one hand and look to the other, and reach the hand away as you look to it. And keep that back of your head on the floor and breathe. Do every movement with a breath. Roll the head by lifting the shoulder. And feel the way you work your shoulder blades. Put your attention there as you roll your head. Anchor one shoulder blade. Lift the other one off the floor. So how you put your attention around to really work your mid-back here and your chest. And you deepen your breath and you think about these rhythms of the sea. As you do this almost spiraling movement. Lovely. Come to rest there. Put your hands on your breastbone or on your chest and just do a circular movement. Like you're polishing the furniture. You're circling on the floor. One way and then the other way. To wake up the center of your body is such a key concept, to work from the center out to the limbs. Let's roll on to our right side. To start our journey upward, and look what happens to your neck here, and that's where you might think about putting something under your head. So you can plant your neck on the floor. And here we think about these circles again. So take that left hand to the sky and over to the other side. That plane of movement. And think about the way the shoulder moves and do it as a movement. So you go back and forth, hands on top of each other, over to the other side. See the way the eyes follow the hand. And the next time you do it, keep your gaze on that right hand and let your arm come over, fixing the head. So you can just work on your neck. So one time you let the eyes follow the hand over. And the next time you keep your gaze looking at the right hand and just take the arm over. And breathe, 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 breathe. So nice to feel that connection of your fingertips to the breastbone. Extend your fingers, something I did on Saturday. I thought about the nails of the hands contacting the floor. So you really extend your fingers. Most of us curl our hands up. And again, you want both. You want to be able to make a fist and you want to extend the hands. Get the expression out to your limbs. Lovely. Bring your hands one on top of the other. And now you're going to go in this other plane of movement. Remember the shoulder clock, where we visualize a clock around the body. And our hands are facing out toward 9 o'clock, and 12 is at the head. And do this circular movement, keeping the left hand on the floor, some of the fingers, and take it in the direction of your head and go all the way around to the other side. And that lovely working, and feel the way your eyes follow the hand. And if you need to hold your shoulder with the right hand, do. But this is the beginning of moving into sitting. You'll see how we'll take this into sitting. Rolling, taking that hand around in that plane, all the way around your body, big circle. With fingertips on the floor. One way and then the other way. So you take it down toward your hips and around. Feel the way your body responds to that. So there's two different planes here. One is coming with your palms together, taking that left hand toward the sky and over toward the other side. And back. And the play with the neck, sometimes fixing the head to gaze to the right and just taking the arm over. And sometimes letting the eyes follow the hand. And then taking it in that plane of movement in the direction of your head. Keeping your fingertips on the floor, letting your eyes follow the hand around. Or try it with just fixing your head and looking to the right hand and play with that arm. So you keep your consciousness in your neck. And we just soften our necks in this way. And then we'll come and lie on the back. Lie on your back. Again, I'm moving through these things quite quickly because I'm thinking about the movement aspect. And also, many of us have done a lot of this. But hopefully you'll feel the difference in the two sides when you come back on your... If you get the preciseness of the movement, if you do this kind of thing enough, You'll feel how you work your nervous system, how the whole right side and left side will be very different when you lie on your back. You're not as balanced, and we'll do the other side to create that balance. But working one side can be very valuable to just give you that experience of just how you work on a very, very deep level, working on the nervous system. Let's roll on to our left side. Arms out in front. Put something under your head. And then take your right hand toward the sky and over to the other side. Back and forth. Lovely. Eyes follow the hand. Be conscious of the shoulder. Moving more from the center of your body. Next time, keep your gaze looking at the left hand. To just feel the way it works your neck. One time you follow with your eyes, you follow your hand with your eyes. The other time you let your eyes look out to the left hand. Again, so good, you can do this and do this and do this, and it's so, you just deepen your experience. We haven't even talked about that anchoring of the pelvis, but we all know that. Take that right hand now in that other plane of taking it toward the head, keeping the fingers on the floor, shoulder clock going around this imaginary clock. 12 at the head, 6 at the hip or the tail. And taking that right hand around and around, and sometimes just fix the head looking out to the left and just let the arm come around. And then another time, let the eyes follow the hand. And be very conscious of how your neck is on. Hopefully it's on a book or a block, because it just helps you. If you let it hang on the floor, you won't get that anchoring of the head. Go in the opposite direction with the arm, toward the hip and around. How you work your shoulder and neck. Lovely, simple movement. It's one of the great movements for just easing out your back. Come and lie on your back now. Take that block out. Lie flat out. Put your fingertips on your breastbone and do that circular movement in that plane again, where you're keeping that sense of the ground, doing the circle on the ground one way and then the other way. And then if you do it in that other plane, that Ferris wheel image, to really work your mid-spine. That one I find it can almost put a little strain on my neck. I have to be really conscious of, because there's a tendency to want to make a bigger movement, and maybe better to keep it small. Let's bring our feet to standing one more time. Again, I'm just moving things kind of quickly because I want this feeling of movement coming through. And we've been doing these things for months now, so we're working on more of an advanced level. You can go two ways. You can go even slower and really get into the feeling, or you go into more of a movement aspect. Lifting the pelvis, bringing it down, warming up that pelvis. Do that circular movement with the pelvis. Feel as if somebody's holding your knees so they don't move too much. They're not fixed, but they move, they're stable. Circling it one way, circling it the other way. Side to side. Feel which way your hips shift, polishing the furniture. or do it as a circular movement in that plane, so it moves through your neck. Circling the pelvis in that plane as if you're polishing the furniture. You know, having practical images make it easier to get the clarity of the movement. All right, bring your pelvis down. Take your hands in front of your knees. Draw your knees toward your shoulders. Lift your head. Two ends of the spine lift off the floor. Feel the way the knees come toward the shoulders. Pull one and then the other. So you'll see the differences in the two sides of your spine. Which shoulder comes more easily? Put your head back down. Strain on the neck to take it up like that. Take your ankles, take your legs straight up to the sky. Feel the state of your hamstring muscles. Bend and straighten your legs. This idea of pushing your feet toward the sky. To get the connection, the heel of your foot. They come into parallel, and then when you bend the knees, they open out. Feel, sense the tail, the base of your spine. It's a wonderful way to work the base of your spine, which can be very tight like the neck. And also feel what it's done to your neck to have your legs up like this. Be conscious how you work those last few vertebrae of your spine. Have your legs straight up and or let them bend at the knees and take them wide and just rock on the base of your spine. Rock side to side, easing out your back. And here we're going to take it up to sitting from this place. So just rock side to side. And you'll see this rolling of your pelvis. And then you're just going to roll to your right and release your legs and come up to sitting. And then there you are in sitting. In this lovely position, hopefully you come up to this place where you're wide and turned. And then we're going to take it back down to the floor. And we're going to do that by just taking our head. And I use this image of kissing the knee. So you're going to kiss your knee as best you can. You may need to blow a kiss to your knee. And then roll back on your back. And then roll onto your right side. And come back up to sitting. Feel how that works. And then bring your face, your lips to kiss that knee. And come back down again. And feel the way you need to organize your legs for that. Put your hands, come onto your back. Rock side to side, slightly bent knees. Rock your pelvis, or bring your feet to standing, feet flat on the floor. Rock your knees side to side. And then roll onto your right side again and come back up to sitting. So that whole way of learning to roll and come up. One of the requests I had from my Saturday Zoom class was, let's work please more on this moving from the floor to standing. And so I'm working with that, and this is what I want to do for the Saturday class, and I'm doing a little bit of it here. All right, here we are on our side, so we can just feel that position nice and wide again. Explore, play with how wide you can take your hips and how you can move your upper body. And this is the way you strengthen your hips. Put your left hand on your left hip and just drop a little more onto your forearm and bring this leg, the left leg, up and just swing it forward and back, holding that hip joint. Let your head move opposite to the way you bring. So you bring your knee as if you're going to kiss your knee, and then you take them away. And then move as if you're going to kiss your knee. Blow a kiss to your knee. And then open it. And that's the way you strengthen your hip. And again, in a safe and movement-oriented way, come and sit up again. And then we're going to come on to the other side. Shifting yourself to the other side. We've only been coming up on the one side. Come on the other side. It's so different. You become more and more, hopefully, conscious of just how different the two sides of your body are. Come and sit upright. And that whole idea, see if we can just think about kissing the knee. And coming and rolling down on that side. And then coming up again. Different. Kissing the knee. Organizing your legs, how your opposite leg shoots out long as you elongate your body and come and fall back onto your back. And then you come up again, keeping your head on the floor as long as you can to protect your neck. Find the power in your hips. That little play on the hips. And then come and lie on your back on this way now and have your feet standing. Knees to the sky and let your knees fall one way and then the other way, like we did in that early exercise. Knees falling one way and then the other way. And then your knees fall over to the left. And you roll and you lengthen and you kiss your knee and you come back up again. That play again, having this kind of idea of a function of moving from the floor to sitting. And then we're going to strengthen this hip by falling onto the forearm, the left forearm, taking that right leg up and swinging it. Swinging it so you kiss the knee. And then you move the leg and lengthen it away and you look the other way. Opening and closing. Different on the two sides. But again, when you make it into a playful movement like this, it's less of a strain. You can make it fun and you can make it less hard to do. Come and sit. Soles of the feet together. And breathe and sit upright and take a breath up in your chest. Easy on the knees again, bent knees. Nice and soft. You know how we play with the various, take your legs wide apart, but keep them bent at the knees. And this constant play on the pelvis of rolling. And the rolling becomes a lot easier when your knees are bent. Rocking side to side and the circular movement on the floor. And how you take your arms like we did out in front of yourself, elbows high like you had that big spool. Visualize that. Circular movement. The different planes, you're coming in a figure eight through the center. All about strength building and learning how to organize your body where your legs want to be. Let's see if we can just take this up now to standing. By folding, we have these classic yoga postures where we bring the heel of the foot into the pubic bone. And that's the way you would want to come up. Taking the other leg long and taking it around. Like so you can stand on it. This could be a yoga posture here where we can play with it as a twist. And then we're going to just put our weight into that foot and spiral up, turning, staying off your knees, and you keep turning. And then you just roll up the spine. And there you are, and standing. And the idea of just being soft in your knees. Soft in your knees. Soft in your knees. Soft in your knees. So you can think about that turning. Think about that turning and just spiral right back down. Right back down again. Spiral down, and then I'm going to go up the other side. So I'm going to take this other knee, the left knee, over and bend it as if I was doing a yoga posture. Pull that heel of foot right into your pubic bone. And then taking this other leg around. And again, I could make this into and I might just have to do this on my class on Saturday where we take it and just work within this posture here now of sitting and twisting and wanting to be upright. And then we're going to drop the head and lift the pelvis and keep turning, 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 and rolling up the spine. And you come up the other way. You know, there's two sides to the body. You want to be able to come up both ways. We're set up to come up one. So important to do both sides. This bending and straightening of the knees, the lifting of the arms. We come into this Tai Chi movement, which I like because it's about understating and breath and release. Simple stuff, but so important again. Of how we extend and we release and we breathe up in our chest. These rhythms of the ocean, circular movements, circular movements. Let's take our arms and stretch them up. And do a circular movement with the fingers on the sky. Singles on the finger. I do this thing where I point the one finger up. I clasp my hands and I do this circular movement. How the pelvis circles. How the rib cage circles. Circling one way, circling the other way. Easing out, and sometimes it's good to just take your arms and put them right up against your head. So your neck is part of your spine and contained in that line. So your neck is held within the arms to keep that sense of line, to keep it protected. So important, calm to rest there, and that the alignment of the neck, take the base of your skull and just lengthen that base of your skull. And breathe and come right up on the balls of your feet and lift your elbows and then lift your arms. Lovely. So that whole play of how important it is when you're in the standing upright, gravity, hard on the neck, the alignment is so important. Of having yourself, we're just going to start to work our way back down again, but just to find that center by rocking onto the balls and onto the heels of the feet. Balls and heels of feet, slightly bending the knees, not falling in on your feet. Find that place. And then put your hands on your hips and shift side to side. Which way do you shift more?
I mentioned that at the beginning when we were doing things on the floor. Feel the difference, because now we're just going to take a step forward and come back. Which leg do you prefer to push off of? And take a step, because it all comes down to walking in the end and how we balance over our legs. So that shifting of the hips, lots of this we're going to be doing. Hopefully we're going to have a nice week. I'm going to do the Isle of Wight next week. We're full up now, so can't really come in November. But it looks like the weather's going to be good and we'll be able to work hopefully outside, and we'll do a lot with walking and playing with these kinds of movements. That shifting of the hips. You know, we'll have more space. In a small space you can't do, we can't travel much, so we'll do more with traveling around the space and work more with walking. And all right, we're going to find ourselves back to the floor. I need to bring this class to a close. I was going to try and keep it to 45 minutes, but I've already run over. Bring the arms up and down. Come on Saturday, Zoom class, 10 o'clock Saturday, hour and a half, so we really have time to explore. No class next week, as I'm going to be away. All right, I'm going to bring us down in the more classic, straightforward way again as we play with this pelvis. Come and the opposition, so we come straight through. And this too, about strengthening the pelvis, which is so key to moving from the floor to standing, coming down, coming into a squatting position. Putting your hands behind you. So that plane of movement, of us moving, bringing your pelvis to the floor. And you know, this we could do, so at some point I might just work with a chair where we work for like an Alexander class, where you move from sitting to standing. Come, sit, come onto your side, roll back onto your back. You know, how fluidly you move from floor to standing and standing to the floor is so important in your life, to keep that as just as a measure for yourself. To keep those hips strong. Come, lie on your back. Feel the ground. Releasing, 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 releasing the breath, that whole sense. Lovely, nice feeling on the floor now. I was going to go back into, let's bring your feet back up to standing just one time. And lift your pelvis. And do that circular movement like a Ferris wheel. One way and then the other way. Just to feel that, and then place it back down on the floor and stretch your legs out long. I always like to go back to where I started the lesson and do it at the end, but I'm feeling so happy just being here on the floor that I'm just going to stay here on the floor and sinking into the ground, allowing your body to embrace the floor. The floor is your friend. The floor supports you. It's there for you. Soften your face, soften your eyes, soften your jaw. Sense your breath. Put one hand on your lower belly, one on your chest. To feel the breath move between these two centers.
Equal breath in both from the diaphragm. There's many ways. Breath work is so, fashionable now. There's so many different ways to breathe. But when you come back into your normal life, you want to be able to breathe fully throughout. There's abdominal breathing, there's diaphragm breathing, there's chest breathing, there's all kinds of ways of working with the breath. But see if you can just fill the rib cage with breath and fill the abdominal area with breath. Breathe down into the tail. Do this circular breath, which is so nice again, all the way around. Up the front, down the back, or the other way around. Up the back, down the front. They call this ujjayi breathing, this circular breathing. But the key is to get that whole torso full of breath and sending it down your legs, into your feet and into your hands, around your body, like an aura around you. When I think of those kind of energy paths, I think about breath. Visualize, have a very strong imagination. Releasing, 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 releasing. All right, I'm going to bring this class to an end here. I will have a class on Saturday. Hopefully see some of you here on Saturday at 10. Some I may see at the Isle of Wight next week. On Monday, there won't be a class the following Saturday, and then also I won't be doing anything in the week. I may take a break from these Wednesdays for a while. I'll see how it goes, but life is starting to get busy. It's going to be great to be able to work with people in the flesh, to actually see people and work with them. I think my teaching will change, will be different because of all these wonderful online classes. So thank you for coming and have a great day, and namaste. Enjoy your day. Take a good long time for yourself.